I need to tell you something that might save your life. Not in a dramatic clickbait way, but in a very real psychological way. Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, spent over 60 years studying dreams. And what he discovered should terrify you. Not because dreams are scary, but because most of us are ignoring urgent warnings from our own minds every single night. Jung found that certain dreams appear right before major life crises, before breakdowns, before relationship collapses, before health emergencies, before career disasters. These dreams are your unconscious mind's emergency alert system. And if you're like 99% of people, you're hitting snooze on these warnings without even knowing it. Today, I'm going to share the 5 specific dreams Jung identified as urgent warnings. If you've had any of these dreams recently, you need to pay attention, because your unconscious mind is trying desperately to prevent something bad from happening in your life. And once you understand what these dreams really mean, you'll never ignore them again. But first, let me share something that happened to me. 3 years ago, I started having this recurring dream. I was driving a car, but the brakes wouldn't work. I'd pump them frantically, but the car kept speeding up. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, heart racing. I dismissed it as stress. Just a weird dream, right? Wrong. 2 months later, my life spiraled completely out of control. My health crashed. My relationship ended. My business nearly failed. All because I ignored what my unconscious was screaming at me through that dream. If I had known then what I'm about to tell you now, I could have prevented all of it. That's why I'm making this video. Because somewhere out there, someone is having one of these warning dreams right now, and this information might help them avoid the crash I experienced. See, Jung discovered something that modern psychology is only now beginning to understand. Your unconscious mind processes millions of bits of information that your conscious mind filters out. It picks up on patterns, subtle changes, warning signs that you consciously miss. And when it detects danger, it tries to warn you through dreams. Think of it like this. Your unconscious is like a security system that never sleeps. It's constantly monitoring everything: your health, your relationships, your mental state, your environment. When it detects a threat, it sends you a message. But here's the problem. It doesn't speak English. It speaks in symbols, images, and emotions. If you don't know how to decode these messages, you miss the warning entirely. Jung spent decades learning this symbolic language. He analyzed thousands of dreams from patients who later experienced major life events. And he found that certain dream patterns appeared consistently before specific types of crises. These weren't coincidences. These were predictable warning signals. What makes this even more urgent is that Jung found these warning dreams typically appear 2 to 6 months before the crisis hits. That means you have a window of opportunity to change course, to address the problem before it explodes. But only if you recognize the warning and take action. So let's dive into these 5 urgent warning dreams. And please, if any of these sound familiar, don't panic. Knowledge is power. Once you understand what your unconscious is trying to tell you, you can take steps to protect yourself. Warning. Dream 1. The Crumbling Foundation Dream. This is one of the most common warning dreams, and it's absolutely critical to recognize. In these dreams, you're in a building. Could be your house, workplace, or any structure, and something is wrong with the foundation. Maybe the floors are tilting. Maybe cracks are appearing in the walls. Maybe the whole building is slowly sinking or collapsing. I had a client, Sarah, who kept dreaming her house was sliding down a hill. In the dream, she'd try to hold it up to stop it from sliding, but it was impossible. She'd wake up exhausted. She came to me because the dreams were so vivid, so disturbing. When we explored her life using Jung's method, we discovered the truth. Her marriage, which seemed fine on the surface, was built on a foundation of lies. Her husband had been hiding massive debts, addiction issues, and an affair. Her unconscious had picked up on all the subtle signs and was warning her that her life's foundation was about to collapse. Here's what Jung discovered about these dreams. They appear when something fundamental in your life is unstable. It could be your health. Your body is the foundation of everything. It could be your primary relationship. It could be your career or financial situation. It could even be your core beliefs about yourself or the world. The unconscious uses buildings as symbols because they represent the structures of our lives. When you dream of structural problems, your psyche is saying, the thing you're building your life on isn't solid. It's going to give way. What's terrifying about these dreams is how accurate they are. Jung documented case after case where people had foundation dreams months before discovering serious health issues, before their marriages ended, before their businesses failed. The unconscious sees what's happening beneath the surface long before. It becomes visible. If you're having these dreams, here's what you need to do immediately. First, get a complete health checkup. I'm serious. Many foundation dreams are early warnings about health issues. Your body knows something's wrong before symptoms appear. Second, honestly examine your primary relationships. Are there cracks you're ignoring? Third, look at your financial foundation. Is it as solid as you think? Fourth, examine your core beliefs. Are you living authentically? Or have you built your life on ideas that aren't really yours? The woman with the sliding house dream? She confronted her husband, discovered the truth, and was able to protect herself legally and financially before everything collapsed. The dream saved her from complete devastation, but only because she listened to the warning. Warning dream 2. The infected womb dream this. Second warning dream is perhaps the most urgent, and Jung considered it one of the clearest danger signals the unconscious can send. In these dreams, you have a wound, sore, or infection somewhere on your body. Maybe it's getting worse, spreading, or won't heal. Sometimes you're trying to hide it from others. Sometimes you're desperately seeking help, but can't find it. These dreams are your unconscious screaming about something toxic in your life that's literally poisoning you. And I mean that literally. Jung found that these dreams often preceded serious health issues, but even more commonly, they warned about toxic relationships, environments, or situations that were causing real psychological and physical damage. Let me tell you about Michael. He was a successful executive who started having dreams about a festering wound on his hand. In the dreams, he'd try to bandage it, hide it under his sleeve during meetings, but it kept getting worse. He ignored these dreams for months. 6 months later, he had a complete nervous breakdown. The toxic work environment he'd been enduring, the bullying boss, the impossible demands, the ethical compromises he was making had literally been poisoning his system. His body couldn't take it anymore. Here's what's crucial to understand. When Jung says these dreams warn about something toxic, he means it in the most literal sense. Chronic stress, toxic relationships, and harmful environments create actual biological changes in your body. They suppress your immune system, disrupt your hormones, damage your organs. Your unconscious recognizes this damage happening at a cellular level and tries to warn you through these wound dreams. What makes these dreams especially urgent is that they usually appear when you're in denial about the toxicity. Your conscious mind might be saying, I can handle this, or it's not that bad, or I just need to tough it out. Meanwhile, your unconscious is showing you the truth. You're being poisoned, and if you don't get out or address it, serious damage will occur. I've seen these dreams precede autoimmune disorders, cancer diagnosis, heart problems, and severe mental health crisis. But here's the hope. When people recognize these dreams and remove themselves from toxic situations, their health often dramatically improves. The body has an amazing ability to heal once the poison is removed. If you're having infected wound dreams, this is a red alert. First, identify what or who in your life feels toxic. Where do you feel drained, poisoned, or damaged? Second, look at any physical symptoms you've been ignoring. That chronic headache, that stomach pain, that skin condition, your body might be manifesting the toxicity. Third, get professional help. Whether it's a doctor, therapist, or both, you need support to address what's poisoning you. One woman I worked with had recurring dreams of an infected cut on her leg that wouldn't heal. She discovered her best friend had been systematically undermining her for years, spreading rumors, sabotaging opportunities, all while pretending to be supportive. The infection was this poisonous friendship. Once she ended that relationship, the dreams stopped, and her chronic health issues improved dramatically. Warning Dream 3. The Losing Control Vehicle Dream. This third warning dream is so common that almost everyone has had it, but most people don't realize it's an urgent warning. In these dreams, you're in a vehicle, car, plane, boat, train, and you've lost control. Maybe the brakes don't work. Maybe you're in the passenger seat and no one's driving. Maybe the vehicle is going too fast, heading for a cliff, or you can't see where you're going. Jung discovered these dreams appear when you're losing control of your life's direction, and a crash is imminent if you don't take back the wheel. The vehicle represents your life's journey, and the loss of control shows that external forces or unconscious patterns are driving you toward disaster. What's particularly important about these dreams is the specific details. If you're driving but can't control the vehicle, it means you're consciously trying to direct your life, but unconscious forces are overpowering you. Maybe addiction, maybe destructive patterns, maybe unprocessed trauma. If someone else is driving badly, it means you've given your power to someone who's leading you to disaster. If no one's driving, it means you're completely passive in your own life, letting circumstances push you around. I'll never forget James, a client who had recurring dreams of being in a plane that was slowly descending. Not crashing dramatically, just gradually losing altitude. He could see the ground getting closer, but couldn't reach the controls. 6 months later, his undiagnosed depression had become so severe he could barely function. The slow descent in his dreams was showing him exactly what was happening to his mental state, a gradual but dangerous decline that would eventually hit ground. These vehicle dreams are urgent because they show you're not just facing problems, you're heading toward a crash. Your current trajectory, if unchanged, leads to disaster. The unconscious is essentially saying, you need to grab the wheel now, or you're going to crash. The type of vehicle also matters. Cars usually represent your personal life journey. Planes often represent career or higher aspirations. Boats can represent emotional journeys. Trains might represent life paths that feel predetermined or hard to change. The condition of the vehicle shows the condition of that life area. If you're having these dreams, immediate action is required. First, identify where in your life you feel out of control. Where are you heading for a crash? Second, look at who or what is driving your decisions. Have you given your power away? Are unconscious patterns running your life? Third, take one concrete action today to regain control. Even a small action can start changing your trajectory. A woman I counseled kept dreaming she was in the back seat of a car being driven by her mother, who was driving erratically. In real life, she was 35 years old, but still letting her mother make major decisions about her life, career, even her relationships. The dreams were warning that this surrender of control was leading to a life crash. When she finally started setting boundaries and making her own decisions, the dreams stopped. Warning Dream 4, the drowning or suffocation dream. This fourth warning dream is one of the most terrifying, and Jung considered it one of the most urgent psychological emergencies. In these dreams, you're drowning, suffocating, or unable to breathe. Maybe you're underwater and can't reach the surface. Maybe something's covering your face. Maybe the air itself feels too thick to breathe. You wake up gasping, sometimes literally struggling for air. These dreams occur when something in your life is literally suffocating your spirit, your creativity, your authentic self. Jung found that people who ignored these dreams often experienced severe depression, anxiety disorders, or complete psychological breakdown within months. The unconscious is warning that your psyche is dying from lack of oxygen, metaphorically speaking. What's crucial to understand is that psychological suffocation is just as dangerous as physical suffocation. When you can't express yourself, can't be who you truly are, can't breathe psychologically, your entire system starts shutting down. Depression is often the psyche's response to prolonged suffocation. I worked with Emma, a brilliant artist who'd given up her art to work in corporate finance. She started having dreams where she was trapped underwater, swimming up but never reaching the surface. The water was dark, heavy, pressing in from all sides. She'd wake up panicking. Within 6 months, she was on medical leave for severe depression and anxiety. Her creative soul was literally suffocating in a life that gave it no air. These dreams are especially common in people who are living inauthentic lives. Maybe you're in a career that kills your soul. Maybe you're in a relationship where you can't be yourself. Maybe you're hiding who you really are due to family or social pressure. Whatever the cause, your true self is suffocating. And if you don't give it air soon, serious psychological damage will occur. Jung documented numerous cases where these dreams preceded suicide attempts. That's how serious this warning is. When the psyche can't breathe, it starts contemplating escape through any means possible. But here's the hope. When people recognize these dreams and make changes to let their authentic selves breathe, the transformation can be immediate and profound. If you're having drowning or suffocation dreams, this is a psychological emergency. First, identify what's suffocating you. Where in your life can't you breathe? Where can't you be yourself? Second, find one small way to give yourself air today. Maybe it's 5 minutes of creative expression. Maybe it's telling one truth you've been hiding. Maybe it's saying no to one suffocating obligation. Third, get support. These dreams indicate serious psychological distress, and you need help creating breathing room in your life. One man I counseled was having nightly dreams of being buried alive. He was a gay man, hiding his identity in a conservative workplace and family. The psychological suffocation was killing him. When he finally came out and started living authentically, not only did the dreams stop, but his chronic health issues improved dramatically. His psyche could finally breathe. Warning Dream 5, the neglected baby or animal. Dream this fifth warning dream might seem less dramatic than the others, but Jung considered it one of the most important warnings about future regret and loss. In these dreams, you discover you have a baby or pet you'd forgotten about. Maybe you find it in a room you never go to. Maybe you suddenly remember you haven't fed it for days or weeks. The baby or animal is usually still alive, but weak, neglected, desperately needing care. These dreams occur when you're neglecting something vital in yourself, often your creative potential. your emotional needs, or your spiritual development. The baby or young animal represents new life, new potential, new aspects of yourself that need nurturing to survive and grow. If you continue ignoring them, they'll die, and with them, a part of your soul. What makes these dreams so urgent is that they usually appear during a critical window. The baby or animal is still alive. It's not too late. But if you continue neglecting it, that potential will die. And Jung found that when people ignored these dreams, they often experienced profound regret later in life about opportunities. Missed, talents wasted, parts of themselves they let die. I'll never forget Sandra, a talented musician who'd stopped playing when she had children. She started having dreams about finding a baby in a forgotten room of her house. The baby was hers, but she'd somehow forgotten it existed. It was weak, crying softly, but still alive. She'd wake up feeling terrible guilt and sadness. When we explored this, she realized the baby represented her musical self, still alive but dying from neglect. She started playing again, just 15 minutes a day. Not only did the dream stop, but she said it saved her sanity during a difficult period of motherhood. These dreams are particularly common during major life transitions. When you start a demanding job, have children, or take on big responsibilities, it's easy to abandon parts of yourself. But the unconscious doesn't forget. It knows that neglecting essential aspects of yourself leads to a kind of soul death. Not dramatic, but a slow withering that leaves you feeling empty and unfulfilled. Jung found these dreams often precede midlife crises. People who ignore their creative, spiritual, or emotional needs for decades suddenly wake up feeling dead inside. They've let essential parts of themselves die, and the grief can be overwhelming. But when people heed these dreams and start nurturing neglected aspects of themselves, they often experience profound renewal. If you're having neglected baby or animal dreams, time is of the essence. First, identify what part of yourself you've abandoned. What did you love that you no longer do? What aspect of yourself have you deemed impractical or unnecessary? Second, commit to one small act of nurturing today. If it's creativity, spend 10 minutes creating something. If it's spirituality, spend 10 minutes in meditation or prayer. If it's play, do something fun for no reason. Third, schedule regular feeding times. Just as a baby needs regular feeding, neglected parts of yourself need consistent attention to revive. One powerful example: a CEO I worked with kept dreaming about a puppy locked in his basement, unfed and alone. He realized it represented his playful, spontaneous side, locked away since he'd taken on corporate responsibilities. He started scheduling playtime, hiking, games, spontaneous adventures. Not only did his depression lift, but his creativity and problem-solving at work improved dramatically. The puppy in his dreams grew strong and happy. The critical window of opportunity. Here's what makes Jung's discovery so urgent. These warning dreams typically appear 2 to 6 months before the crisis fully manifests. This isn't random. Your unconscious needs time to get your attention, and it usually starts with subtle warnings that grow more intense if ignored. Think of it like a smoke alarm. The first beep is quiet, easy to ignore. But if you don't address the danger, the alarm gets louder, more insistent. These 5 warning dreams are your psyche's smoke alarms. Ignore them at your peril. Jung documented the typical progression. First, you might have the dream once and forget it. Then it recurs, maybe weekly. If you still ignore it, the dreams become more intense, more frightening. Other warning dreams might join in. Your unconscious is literally escalating its warnings because the danger is getting closer. What's tragic is how many people experience the crisis and then remember the dreams. I kept having these dreams about drowning, they'll say after the breakdown. I had dreams about infected wounds, they'll say after the diagnosis. I dreamed about losing control of my car, they'll say after the life crash. The warnings were there. They just didn't know how to read them. But you're different. You now know what these dreams mean. You can recognize the warnings and take action. You have the knowledge Jung spent a lifetime accumulating. The question is, will you use it? Taking action. Your emergency response plan if you've recognized any. Of these warning dreams, here's your emergency action plan. First, don't panic, but do act urgently. These dreams are warnings, not prophecies. You have time to change course, but you must start now. Second, journal the dreams immediately. Write down every detail you remember. The specific symbols, emotions, and details contain important information about exactly what needs attention. Third, identify the life area under threat. Use the dream type to guide you. Foundation dreams point to fundamental structures. Infected womb dreams point to toxic situations. Vehicle dreams point to life direction. Suffocation dreams point to authenticity issues. Neglected baby dreams point to abandoned potentials. Fourth, take one concrete action within 24 hours. Even a small step starts changing your trajectory. The unconscious responds to action. When it sees you're listening, it often provides more guidance through subsequent dreams. Fifth, get appropriate support. Depending on the dream, you might need medical checks, therapy, career counseling, or spiritual guidance. Don't try to handle serious warnings alone. Sixth, track your dreams going forward. Once you start addressing the issue, your dreams will change. They'll show you if you're on the right track or need to adjust your approach. Why most people ignore these warnings. Identified several reasons why people ignore these life-saving warnings. First, we're not taught to value dreams. Modern culture dismisses dreams as meaningless, so we never learn their language. It's like having a fire alarm that beeps in Morse code, useless if you can't decode it. Second, the warnings often point to things we don't want to face. It's easier to dismiss a dream than confront a toxic relationship, career mistake, or health issue. Our ego protects itself through denial. Third, taking action requires courage. Leaving a soul-killing job, ending a toxic relationship, or facing health issues is scary. The known suffering feels safer than unknown change. Fourth, we're too busy to listen. Modern life keeps us so distracted, so overwhelmed, that we don't have quiet space to hear our inner wisdom. We wake up, check our phones, and rush into our day, never pausing to consider what our psyche's trying to tell us. But here's what Jung wanted everyone to understand. Ignoring these warnings doesn't make the danger go away. It just ensures you'll be blindsided when it hits. The unconscious doesn't warn about things that might happen. It warns about things that will happen if you stay on your current path. Dreams tonight, so here's my challenge to you. Tonight, before you sleep, set an intention to remember your dreams. Put a journal by your bed. Tell your unconscious you're ready to listen. When you wake up, before you do anything else, lie still and recall whatever you can. Even fragments are valuable. If you recognize any of these 5 warning dreams, take them seriously. Your unconscious is trying to protect you, guide you, save you from unnecessary suffering. It's been doing this job for millions of years of human evolution. It knows things your conscious mind doesn't. Remember, these aren't just dreams. They're urgent communications from the wisest part of yourself. They're your psyche's emergency broadcast system. And now that you know how to decode them, you have a powerful advantage in navigating life's challenges. Jung spent his entire career trying to help people understand this simple truth. Your unconscious is not your enemy. It's your wisest advisor, your most protective guardian, your early warning system. But it can only help you if you learn its language and heed its warnings. The 5 dreams I've shared today, the crumbling foundation, the infected wound, the out-of-control vehicle, the suffocation, and the neglected baby, these are your psyche's most urgent alarms. If you're having any of these dreams, your unconscious is essentially shouting, "Danger! Change course now." Don't be one of the people who looks back with regret, saying, "I had the dreams. I just didn't know what they meant." You now have the knowledge. You now have the power. The only question is, will you listen? If this video opened your eyes to the urgent messages in your dreams, please share it. Someone in your life might be having these warning dreams right now, and this information could literally save them from disaster. Hit the like button if you found this valuable, and subscribe for more deep dives into Jungian psychology and the wisdom of the unconscious dot in the comments. I want to know, have you had any of these warning dreams? Looking back, can you see how they were trying to protect you? Share your experiences. Your story might help someone else recognize their own warnings. Remember, every night when you dream, your unconscious is working tirelessly to keep you safe, healthy, and on the right path. All you have to do is listen. Sweet dreams, and more importantly, safe dreams. I'll see you in the next video.